I'm 68 years old. I retired 3 years ago with more money than I know what to do with. I have a house that's paid off. I have investments that generate income I don't need. I can go anywhere, buy anything, do whatever I want. And I am so lonely, I sometimes go entire weeks without speaking to another human being. Not because I'm isolated, not because I'm sick or unable to leave my house, because I have no one to call. I worked in finance for 42 years. Started at 23, right out of college. I was ambitious, driven, hungry. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to win. And I did win. By every measure that mattered to me at the time, I won. I made a partner at 35. I was the youngest in the firm's history. I worked 80-hour weeks like they were normal. I took calls at midnight, on weekends, during vacations we never actually took. My wife Karen used to joke that I was married to my job, except it wasn't really a joke. We got married when I was 26. She was a teacher. She loved kids, loved her work, always came home with stories about her students. I'd nod and half listen while checking my phone. We had 2 children, Michael and Sarah. I missed Michael's birth because I was closing a deal in Tokyo. I got there 6 hours after he was born. Karen said it was okay. She said she understood. I missed Sarah's first steps because I was in a meeting I didn't actually need to be in. I missed soccer games and piano recitals and parent-teacher conferences. I missed dinners and bedtimes and weekend trips to the park. But I told myself it was worth it. I was building something. I was providing for my family. I was securing our future. And I genuinely believed that. I thought I was doing the right thing. Karen asked me once, when the kids were maybe 7 and 9, if I could take a Saturday off. Just one Saturday. Sarah had a school play. She was playing a tree or something small, but she'd been practicing her lines for weeks. I said I'd try. I meant it when I said it. But that Saturday morning, a client called with an emergency. Not a real emergency, just something that felt urgent at the time. I told Karen I'd be there by the afternoon. I didn't make it. When I got home that evening, Sarah was already in bed. Karen didn't say anything. She just looked at me, and I saw something in her face I hadn't seen before. Not anger, something worse. Resignation. Like she'd given up expecting anything different. I should have noticed that moment. I should have paid attention. I didn't. The years went by fast, faster than I realized. Michael went to college. I wrote the checks, but I didn't help him move in. Sarah graduated high school. I was there for the ceremony, but I left early for a flight. Karen and I grew into strangers who shared a house. We'd have dinner together, maybe once a week. We'd make small talk, weather, news, surface things. I thought that was normal. I thought that's what marriage became after 20, 30 years. When I turned 60, I started thinking about retirement. 5 more years, I told myself. 5 more years, and then I'd have time. Time to travel with Karen. Time to reconnect with the kids. Time to finally relax and enjoy everything I'd worked for. Karen got sick when I was 63. Breast cancer. Stage 3 by the time they found it. She went through chemo, radiation, and surgery. I took time off work. Finally, after 40 years of putting work first, I took time off. But it was too late. Not medically. She survived. She's alive. She's in remission. But by the time I showed up, she didn't want me there. Not in the way I'd hoped. She was polite, grateful for the help, but distant. Like I was a helpful acquaintance, not her husband. One night in the hospital, after a particularly rough day of treatment, she looked at me and said, "You know what's sad? I've been terrified and going through this, and the person I wanted to talk to wasn't you. I called my sister. I called my friend Diane. Because you and I don't really talk. We never have." I didn't know what to say. She wasn't angry. She was just stating a fact. I retired at 65 like I'd planned. Sold my partnership stake for more money than I'd ever imagined having. I thought retirement would be the beginning of something, that I'd finally have time to fix things, to be the husband and father I'd always meant to be. Karen asked for a divorce 4 months later. She wasn't cruel about it. She said she didn't want to spend the rest of her life pretending. She said she'd spent 40 years waiting for a marriage that never materialized, and she wasn't going to wait anymore. She moved to New Mexico to be near her sister. We talk maybe twice a year. Birthdays, holidays. Michael lives in Seattle. He's married, has 2 kids I barely know. We're not estranged exactly. We're just not close. He calls on Father's Day. We exchange pleasantries. I ask about his work, his kids. He gives short answers. I can feel him fulfilling an obligation. Sarah lives in Boston. She's a lawyer, busy like I was. We email occasionally. I've offered to visit. She says she's swamped, but maybe next time. Next time never comes. I sit in this house now, and I think about what I have. I have money. Enough to live comfortably for the rest of my life and then some. I have a beautiful house that's too big for one person. I have a car I barely drive. I have investment statements I don't even open anymore because what's the point? But I don't have anyone to call when something funny happens. I don't have anyone who wants to hear about my day. I don't have anyone who'd notice if I didn't show up. Last month, I went 4 days without speaking out loud. Not because I'm a recluse, just because there was no one to speak to. I went to the grocery store on the 5th day, and the cashier asked how I was doing, and I almost started crying from the relief of being acknowledged. I tried joining things, a book club, a volunteer group at the library, but I don't know how to connect with people. I never learned. I spent my whole life in transactional relationships. Clients, colleagues, people I worked with toward specific goals. I don't know how to just be with someone. Sometimes I think about what my life would look like if I'd made different choices. If I'd left work at 5 o'clock. If I'd been at that school play. If I'd taken those vacations. If I'd put my phone down at dinner and actually listened to Karen talk about her day. Would we still be married? Would my kids call me just to talk? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I would have still ended up here, but at least I'd have memories. Real memories of being present with them. Instead, I have decades of conference rooms and business dinners and deals that felt important at the time and mean absolutely nothing now. I can't even remember most of them. But I remember Sarah's face when I missed her play. I remember the look in Karen's eyes when she stopped expecting me to show up. Those memories are sharp, clear. They cut. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was 30. Money doesn't keep you company. Success doesn't call you on Tuesday afternoons just to check in. Your career will not hold your hand when you're scared. The people in your life need you now. Not later, not when it's convenient, not after you've achieved whatever goal you think you need to achieve first. Now. And if you keep putting them off, eventually they stop waiting. You think you have time. You think there will always be another chance to prioritize them. You don't. There won't be. I'm 68 years old. If I'm lucky, maybe 15 or 20 years left. And I'm going to spend them alone. Not because I have to, because I chose this. Every day for 40 years, I chose work over people. I chose advancement over presence. I chose providing over loving. And now I have everything I worked for and nothing I actually need. I see people my age with grandchildren who run to them, with spouses who still hold their hand, with friends they've known for decades. And I feel like I'm watching through glass. I did this to myself. If you're reading this and you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and you're working long hours and telling yourself it's temporary, that you'll make time for your family later, that you'll be present once you reach whatever milestone you're chasing, stop. Look at the people who love you, your partner, your kids, your parents while they're still here. They won't wait forever, and you won't get those years back. I would give everything I have, every dollar, every investment, the house, the car, all of it, for one more chance to have dinner with my family when my kids were small. To actually be there, to listen, to be present. But that's not how life works. You get one chance, one timeline, one version of the story. I thought I was building security. I thought I was being responsible. I was building a prison. And now I'm sitting in it, alone, with nothing but money and regret. Don't do what I did.